Good morning. Nice to see everybody. Hey. So, um, without further ado, no, um, too many, looking at too many shows on Netflix or something. We finally succumbed to Netflix in these last couple weeks. It's kind of fun. We're into The Crown. So I'll be teaching class with a British accent, like the Queen. All right, folks. So let's see what's happening in and around ourselves. Let's do a little check in. The day after the 2 days, whatever that was for you. So notice. What do we call it? The vasana, the traces or the residue of whatever you were just engaged in. Maybe still the effects of the night and the day before. Feeling the reality, this physical reality of your body connecting to the floor, the earth, supporting you. And letting the breath come into awareness and just letting it happen for a couple moments. And today we're going to focus on breath, which is pretty unusual. We don't usually focus on breathing. Ha, ba-dum-bum. But I wanted to, I'm going to share a screen. I wanted to, as many of you know already, conceptually and actually, breath centered. What is the breath connects us to a central tenet of traditional yoga, which is prana, which is, there's a lot of aspects of it, but so the life force here, if you're looking at the screen, that which knows everything and goes everywhere. Yeah. And then another way of putting it, that which connects the material and immaterial aspects of our being. So that's pretty interesting stuff. And how we're going to explore that today is through movement, through chant, and through breathing. And it's the kind of breathing called envelope breathing. But let's just chant a little bit if you want. Listen and repeat, or you can also sometimes just listen if you're in a mood for just listening. So these horizontal marks above the A's mean they're longer. They take two counts rather than one. Pranaya namaha. Pranaya namaha. Pranaya namaha. The long Om. Good. Okay, friends. So I would like us to spend a few moments lying down. I know that some people are like, oh, good. And sometimes, oh, God. But let's just explore a little bit. Depending what state we're in, we may welcome or not that. But I just find that, well, let's see. You'll see what your experience is. So we'll lie down, and when you're ready, you could bend your knees and have the soles of your feet on the floor. So you're arranging your legs so that the idea is so there's minimal muscular activity. So we don't want the feet too close or too far apart. Okay. And you could settle your hands on your abdomen and wherever you want. Sometimes they're really specific, other times more general. And just again, feeling the coming and going of your breath. You know, during these holidays, for some of us, there can be periods of melancholy or, both melancholy and connection, of support, and sometimes maybe feeling lonely, and all of it can be there at different times. And there's a kind of constant companionship of our breathing. So just letting that be there with you as you. And then if you put one hand on your chest somewhere, you can, have one, it might be a little off to the side, so your elbow can be on the floor if you want. You don't even have to hold the shoulder. And the other hand on the low abdomen, and just being with that for a couple of breaths. So no moving of the physical body for a moment. We're feeling this movement of breath, and it can initiate our movements and guide them. Maybe a soft ujjayi breath begins to come in. And then you could let your hands rest on the floor next to your pelvis. And starting simply, letting the inhale lift your arms through the air, bring your arms onto the floor overhead where the elbows and hands could be supported. And exhale, come down. Just like that. Letting this be the most interesting thing you've ever done. Inhale, just like you're doing. Okay, now after you come down, pause a moment. And now we'll begin this envelope breathing, or what some people call IBM breathing. It sounds a little corporate. Intention, breath, movement. Anyway, this is where the movement of the breath precedes the movement of the body. Okay? And it can be a feeling, or you can use counting to help you with this. So for example, I start to feel my breath come in, and I slightly delay the lifting of my arms. Inhale starts, and then a bit into the inhale, I then lift my arms onto the floor. Then I feel the exhale start, and then my arms, the arm movement starts a moment after that. So just like that, breath movement preceding body movement. Okay. When this one finishes, pause a moment, let go of the physical movement, just let the breath be there. Okay, so the basic idea is that we're going to explore this throughout our practice. Over time, generally in breath center practice, this is something that we may do more and more of spontaneously and or intentionally. So if a person has a very short breath, 2, 3, or 4 seconds, it's a little hard to do this kind of breathing. So it's not really a beginner's technique. But as your breath lengthens through various means and methods and grace, you're able to do this kind of breathing. So let's explore it. Think of it as an exploration. Let's start the same way. We'll do a couple more movements now. Inhale starts, and then the arms lift overhead, just as you did. And this time, exhale, and then body. Bring one knee to your chest and let your hands land on your knees, knee to chest. And let's remain there for one breath cycle. Remain there for the incoming breath and the outgoing breath. And then when inhale comes, let the foot go down and the arms go overhead again. And then exhale, arms come down and other knee to chest, cradle that leg. Remain there for incoming and outgoing. And then continue like that again from your breath timing, envelope breathing. Knee to chest, staying a breath while having the knee towards the chest. Beautiful. Okay, after this one, which wherever you are, you can let your arms come down on the next exhale and just pause a moment. And again, letting the body movement fade to the background and letting the breath and the prana, that which animates us, just be there. Sometimes there's a kind of softness that comes, kind of very soft buoyancy when we connect into this. And as the new year approaches, we can just maybe reflect on, with an easy attitude, not critical, like what motivates me? What do I want to initiate? Where do I want to initiate from in myself? And so in yoga, again, this practice is said to help us connect to initiating from a deeper part of ourselves than we may sometimes act from. So let's roll to one side and stay in this kind of soft zone, if that's your experience possibly. We'll sit for just a moment and we'll do even more subtle physical movement for a moment. We'll do a variation of finger sliding, thumb sliding nyasa. So your hands will rest on, I guess I can do this here. So you're going to rest your hands wherever it's comfortable on your legs, whatever angle. And this is the version, friends, where we bring the ends of the thumbs to the base crease of the index fingers. And let's see if we can do a little bit of envelope breathing here. Let the inhale begin, and then just after the thumbs start to slide to the ends of the fingers. Then exhale begins, and then a second or two after, then the thumbs slide down. So it's the thumb that's the active agent here, and then next finger. Inhale begins, thumb moves. Exhale begins, a couple seconds later or so, thumbs go down. And continue like that at your own pace. Close your eyes. Okay. After you finish the one you're on, would you do one more like that? Then you can turn your palms down and open your eyes. And then let's come to all fours. And again, not to be hopefully too critical, but to observe, if you observe people who practice yoga asana without breath for years, there's a stridency that can come into the approach in the physical tissues. You may notice that in some people. So the breath again gives us a kind of buoyancy that we really need. So let's come to all fours, and we'll do these movements that we know well. Inhaling, the chest lifts just after. And then exhale, bowing back into what we'll call child's pose. So can you explore here envelope breathing at the beginning of inhale, breath preceding the body movement. The beginning of exhale, exhale begins, body follows. I'd say it's interesting to do this with your eyes closed if you want. And by the way, allow any pauses after the breath cycle completes that are naturally occurring. One more time after this one. And then when you finish, rest in either the child's pose or sitting vertically for a moment with your eyes closed. Let the breath take its course, let the body settle. Okay, and then you can let your eyes open. We're just going to make sure you don't get up too fast if you've had your head down. Okay, and please stand. So I'm seeing the bare trees, so we're kind of really unembellished movements so far. Let's try this. Let's take the arms out of the forebend for a moment. So let's, like we did, I think last class, have your hands on the sides of your legs, or it could be at the underneath the sitting bones, so you're tracing the hamstrings. Okay, so let your hands touch your legs, so you're connecting. Yeah. So feel the inhale come in. Ujjayi. As you exhale, draw in the belly for a second or two, then going into a forward bend, sliding your hands down your legs. And let's stay here for a breath, so we're not moving too much. Stay feeling the movement of breath and prana. And then let the inhale come in, and then it activates the body, come back up. Stay for a breath, exhale. So let's go like this a bit. Stay for inhale. Exhale starts, belly starts to go in, then the body movement happens within the envelope or cushion of the breath. Remain there for, you can let your arms go if you want. Stay there for a breath. And again, envelope breathing on the inhale to bring you up. This is your timing. Stay for exhale. So you get the idea. So I'm going to be quiet. You can really tune into your breath. Go through this one more time like that, please, on your own. Okay. Good. And then just let your arms hang when you come up. Let's take kind of shoulder, a little wider than shoulder width stance. Not your widest, but wider. Let's revisit this movement that we did on Wednesday. So here's the idea. You're going to inhale, body movement comes out. You're going to lift your arm back and up and turn and a little bit, right? It's kind of an open twist. Now exhale, bring your hand across to the other side to your shoulder and turn, look behind you. Okay? And then inhale, open your arm again. You can maybe look a little side or behind. Exhale, arm down. Then the other side. So inhale begins, arm, chest. It's really coming from the chest. Exhale, bring it across. The other arm can hang, or you can tuck that hand behind your back. Turn your vertebrae. Pause. Inhale, unwind again. Exhale, come back. It takes a lot of patience to do this, but try that again so letting the breath movement precede the body movement at the beginning of inhale and the beginning of exhale. Beautiful. Let's say if you're just finishing one side, you could do one more side. Your timing. Beautiful. Everyone has their own breath timing. When you finish, just enjoy for a moment. As one teacher said so many years ago, savor that for a moment. Kind of billowing softness of breathing. Yeah. Let's now take a wider stance, yet you may face the long side of your mat. Now again, we're going to do a, twisting with forward bend. So if it's better for you to place your hand on, the seat of a chair, a block, or your leg or your foot, we don't have to go to the floor every time, okay? So if you want to be close to a support, you could do that now. So let's start with the same action here. Envelope breathing, inhale, start with the same opening to the side or little behind you. Now exhale, let the other arm extend in opposition and bring your hand to the thigh or your lower leg or the foot or the floor and look towards the extending arm. Thumb is hitchhiking to heaven. Inhale comes in. And let's raise both arms now as we come back. Yeah, I like that. I just stole that from Jill. Exhale, bring the other hand down so your arms are sort of reaching in somewhat opposition. Good. Inhale, pulls you out, both arms. Exhale, relax. You could bend the knees a little if you want. I think this is simpler. Let's use both arms here, okay? So let's try this again. Breath preceding body movement. Arms open. You could start on the other side or the same side. It doesn't really matter. Exhale. Belly flows in. Turning. Chest, head. Delay the body movement. Come out. You know this then to the other side. Beautiful, good. Becoming so strong this way. Good. Okay. Now, just like that again, excuse me, add one stay breath while in the twist. Okay, so all of the above, stay a breath. Go ahead when you're ready, please. It's beautiful. Opposite fourth and fifth toes reach into the ground. Yep, good. Okay. And now let's try this. Keep, if you can, stay in the wide stance. Let's raise the arms to the side. And exhale, you'll bend forward into wide stance, forward bend. Hands can be either on the leg or just releasing into ground. Enjoy a breath cycle there. Rise on the inhale, floating fingers and hands. Exhale, arms down. And then when you take your time, but when you finish, bring your feet to a medium stance, like that slightly wider than shoulder width stance. Let's try this again. Inhale, lift the arms wide. Nice. Exhale, belly goes in. Bending forward. Just right in the center, not the twist. Yeah, sorry if I wasn't clear. So stay a breath there. Can you stay with Ujjayi, feeling the subtle movements, lots of space created in the spine. Rise on the inhale, your timing. And then bring your feet in underneath your pelvis, where you're comfortable, stable. And let's go like this one more time. Stay 2 breaths, practicing envelope breathing. If you feel safe, close your eyes. Really immerse yourself in the subtle flow of breathing and the prana within. If you prefer not to stay, you can move in and out instead. Good. And when you finish, savor. You could, if you want, place the thumb of one hand on your navel, so you have one hand on the low belly and one hand on the chest. You don't even have to put the breath anywhere, just kind of be with yourself for a breath or two here. Okay, when you're ready, you can release that gesture. Let's come to all fours. And I thought we might, so we'll do a little kneeling Surya Namaskar. And so what we've been doing takes an enormous amount of attention, don't you think? I realize, yeah, when I can kind of, when you get used to this, like you can kind of keep doing body and breath. There's a part of you that can kind of check out and still be parallel processing. As one scientist student, there was this guy who was going to be an astronaut in Nashville in yoga therapy, and he had a tragic diving accident, so he wasn't able to do that. But he said, I can get, and once I learn something, I can just kind of do it over here, and my mind keeps parallel processing, thinking over here. So any of us can do that a little bit. So what helps us kind of refresh our attention? So I think envelope breathing, you really can't space out and do it. That's what I find. So friends, let's try this. Let's do, can you sit on, it looks like most people are able to sit on their heels. If not, stand on your knees. Start either sitting on your heels, kneeling, or stand on your knees. And let's learn the sequence first, and we'll add an optional short mantra. So let's inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bend forward, child's posture. Inhale, gradually come to all fours. Lift your beautiful chest. Spread your toes. Ready for downward dog. Exhale, belly draws you back and up. Okay, now one more. You could come into plank if you wish, or come down to all fours. Either one. Inhale, come into plank. Reach the heels back. Yeah, you might have to adjust. And then exhale, go back into downward dog. Good, now stay a breath. Go all the way to the end of exhale. And then inhale, lower your knees to the floor and lift the sternum, a little opening in the front of the body. Good. Exhale, bowing into child's posture. And to finish, inhale, stand on your knees, raise your arms. Nice. Exhale back to your beginning position. You could bring your hands to your legs or palms together at the chest. Okay, it's maybe a little longer than I thought, but let's go for it. So, option now on your exhales is to chant Na, let me go a little higher. Na, na, ma, ha. You get that ha. It helps you really engage the exhale technique. Should we try this? Palms together. I'll get you started. Inhaling, stand on your knees. Chant, bend forward. Na, ma, ha. Inhale, carry up to all fours. Chant going into down dog. Namaha. Inhale into plank or all fours. Chant back into downward dog. Namaha. Stay, breathe in through your nose. Stay and chant. Namaha. Breathe in through the nose, lower your knees. Chant into child's posture. Maha. One more time, inhale, stand on your knees. Chant to finish. Namaha. Pause a moment. That'll rile up your system a little bit, hopefully in a good way. Can you go through that one more time? Yeah, because each person, it's going to not quite fit with me leading it, right? So go through that if you like one more time through chanting if you want, and then you'll lie on your back. Okay? So let yourself lie down when you finish. So lying down, letting go of all the particulars, and just pause a moment. Enjoy the contact with the floor, the support of the floor. After that, so vinyasa, stimulating the, bearing weight in the arms, semi-inversions, chanting. So just notice what the effect in your breath and your body for a couple moments. Let it kind of settle in. Somehow there's some so famous, I don't know who they are. No, but I remember this Buddhist teacher would say, "You're perfect just the way you are, and there's room for improvement." I mean, so we want to practice in a way where it's not about, oh, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I've got to get better. No, there is an inherent goodness and kind of perfection, one could say, and in this ever-changing world in which we live in, there is this capacity to learn and experience new things. So let's, when ready, bend your knees, soles of the feet on the floor. And have the arms alongside your body on the floor. We're going to do two, variations of Dvipada Pitam, or bridge. First, let's do it with the arms and then without. Okay, so like this, when you inhale, you're going to simultaneously raise your arms overhead and lift your pelvis. Okay, so if you could take the head support away for this one. Inhale, lift the pelvis, sweep the arms. Exhale, come down. And now leave your arms down and let the pelvis and the spine move. Yeah. So like that. One time with your arms, one time without. Focus on letting the breath precede the body movement. could try closing your eyes if you'd like. And now, whichever version, to me, they're very different, with or without arms. Do one more, whichever version you like doing that feels best for you, and stay a breath. Mm-hmm. Pause a moment when the breath finishes. I think this, unless there's pain, of course, in doing it, we have other alternatives. I think this is one of the key postures for us to do with some regularity in our practice. Um, because a lot of us, anyway, are sitting more than we might usually. Let's bring the knees to the chest, the hands to the knees. If so everything takes a while, right? So if doing the envelope breathing is starting to be like depleting or irritating, just be a little freer with it. Don't be severe at all. But let's inhale, both feet to the sky, arms overhead. Exhale, you'd come back, knees to chest. Okay? If you're doing okay, you could stay with envelope breathing. Just alternate a few times. This will help reduce any negative vasana or residue from the previous posture. Okay, and then rest a moment. Can we do something a little weird here? Weird in, I think, an informative, good way. Try, if you would, for a moment, reversing. I don't know, what would envelope, développe, I don't know what opposite of envelope breathing, what word we'd use, but where instead of breath movement starting, then body movement, try the opposite. You could use the extend the legs and bend the legs movement we just did. It's not going to hurt you. But try letting the body movement start, then you inhale. Then the legs and arms bend, and then you exhale. Reverse the relationship for maybe 3 times or so. Yeah. And then pause a moment, and you could rest where maybe you set your feet down and your hands rest wherever you want after this one. Just feel that and just notice what may be obvious or subtle differences. So again, that's not wrong, but it's going to have an effect immediately and cumulatively over time on our nervous system and the prana, etc. So could we try a couple more where you return to the envelope breathing? Okay? And just see what that's like. Using the same movement of, it could just be your arms or the arms and the legs as you wish. And then the last one you do, stay with the arms and the legs extended for one breath cycle. Beautiful. When that finishes, set your feet down. Legs could be bent or extended. Let's rub the hands together if you want. If you have glasses, you could set them aside and place the palms over the eyes for a moment. Just go into the sensuality of your skin of your hands on the skin of your face. Rest there for a moment. Okay. Beautiful. And then you could roll or let the gesture go, maybe turn to the side you don't usually turn to as we prepare for the new year. And let's come to sitting when you're ready. I'd say if you're sitting on the floor and you're comfortable cross-legged posture, or you could sit in a chair with your feet on the floor. The most important thing is the base of your pelvis and the length and freedom of your spine and diaphragm. So whatever gives you that. Legs are secondary. So we sit for a moment, and maybe you could interlace your fingers and just place them on the crown of the head and move just like you're subtly reaching the crown into your hands. And then as you float your hands away, the head just kind of follows, let your arms come down. So we're going to play with some turning here. So feel the inhale, Ujjayi breath comes in. Start the exhale for a couple of seconds. Then start to turn the body, turn to one side. Now, as if you're going to stay in the posture, start to breathe in, but then decide to come out as you finish the inhale. Okay? Stay exhale. So, inhale, spine lengthens, space increases. Exhale begins, and then you decide to turn somewhere as you enter the exhale. Go to the other side. Inhale begins as if you're going to stay there a breath, and then you come out as you're completing the inhale. Rest a moment. So I'm just phrasing it a little differently, so you might access this a little differently. So let's try this again. Close your eyes. Inhale, space and length. Exhale, belly goes in. Then the gross physical body turns. Now, stay for a breath. And then stay for inhaling for 2 or 3 seconds and come out somewhere during the inhalation. Okay? And then as you're ready, next exhale, you can go into the other side like that. staying a breath, returning, and pause. When you come back to center, just pause for a moment. While you're sitting and resting with your eyes closed, just rest as if you're in Shavasana, like you're doing the most exquisite restorative posture you've ever been in. Just access that. You have that in you. Just let everything find its resting orientation. Okay, and then keeping it simple, let's return to the thumb sliding nyasa that we did towards the beginning. Let the hands rest on your legs, thumbs to the base creases of the index fingers, envelope breathing. Inhaling begins, a couple seconds later, thumbs slide up. Exhale begins, a couple seconds later the thumbs slide down. And go like that at your own pace. After 4 breaths, rest. Okay, now let's take this one more stage to a more complete envelope breathing, where the breath movement precedes and continues after the body movement. Okay, so let's use the thumb sliding nyasa to explore this. Talk you through it a couple times. Start at the index finger bases. So inhaling for a couple seconds, then the thumbs start to slide up, then the thumbs finish, and a couple seconds later the inhale finishes. Exhale for a couple seconds, slide the thumbs down, fingers finish, and then the breath finishes. Next finger. So explore having the breath precede and continue after the movement of your fingers. When you finish, rest. Let the breath move on its own for a moment. As you rest now and just let the breath move freely, just become aware of the beginning of the inhale. Let it flourish in whatever path or duration. Feel the end of the inhale, any pause that wants to happen. And then feel the beginning of exhale and how it dissolves at the end. And then letting go of that specific focus, feel your whole body, the whole body, the body of the breath permeating and surrounding you with prana, life force. Connect in your own way to the living world within and around you. Then we could bring our palms together and bow the head. And let's do our counter pose now after the twisting. Couple options. You could stay cross-legged, or you could bring your legs in front of you long, or soles of the feet together, or even hands and knees. Just something that now, as you exhale, allows you to bend forward and release your back. Okay? And you can move in and out a couple times, or stay a couple breaths. See what feels right to you. So as my teacher Dolphy would say, that kind of practice, that kind of really strong attention, it's not something we're trying to necessarily do during every moment of our life. We can be mindful, but that's like a special thing we do. And then we come out of that, right? And then we see how it affects us until we dive into practice again. It will affect us. But don't feel like, oh God, I have to be aware of everything on that magnified level. It sometimes can be too much. So thank you so much for exploring. Thank you. Oh, yes, and I want to share with you, so most of you I've kind of chatted with in one way or another. I'm thinking new year, new time for a Saturday class. Let's shift to 10 o'clock for the Saturday class. Hopefully that works as well or better for all of you or most of you. And, spread the word throughout the land if you can. So we'll do 10 o'clock on both Wednesday and Saturday. It would be a simple way. Same bat channel, same Zoom info. Always interested to hear your thoughts, feelings, responses to everything, practice, etc., now or later via other means, text, emails, Telegram. Lots of love to all of you. Bye.